I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity this afternoon to talk about House Bill 6059 in strong support, an act increasing the penalty for failure to register out-of-state vehicles with the Commissioner of Motor Vehicles. Just in the previous bill, there was reference to Section 14-12 made by Representative O'Day, and this section talks about driving vehicles without proper registration. As you know, 30 days are allowed. We need to get our registration, and if not, it's an infraction. So we do see, as we heard from the previous speakers on another bill, the number of vehicles that are here in our state, out-of-state vehicles that are being driven without proper registration. So it is a revenue loss. It's increase in terms of the taxes for the municipalities, because obviously revenue loss. So what I'm proposing to do is to suggest to you to consider raising the fines from the 150 to 300. That's the range I have found for vehicles being operated without proper registration. To revisit that, and of course, it's easy for us to sit here and say that's what the fines are. The fine is an infraction. The problem, of course, is going to be implementation, and how are we going to be able to collect that? And given where we are in our fiscal status, I mean, of course, this is a small amount, but every penny counts. And I think for people to be driving in our state without their vehicles registered properly is a revenue loss for us, and I hope the committee will consider looking at it and doing what is needed. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you for your comments. Any comments from Representative Varsi, followed by Representative O'Day?
Thank you, Representative, for being here today. This is a bill that I'm in deep support of, seeing that we face this in our city in Hartford. Earlier, somebody had asked, I think it was Representative Altabello that asked that what are the states, most of the states that are Connecticut people register. They mentioned New York, Pennsylvania, and I forgot the other one. But do you see a lot of them from Maine and New Hampshire? Have you seen any at all?
Yes, I have. I definitely have. I've definitely seen Maine, New Hampshire. I've definitely seen a lot of Florida plates that are here. That's the maximum number of plates that I have seen, and some from the southern states as well.
Okay. I guess the reason a lot of people register their car out of state is because of the taxes in Connecticut and so on. But that's no excuse. That's no reason for, and that's why the taxes are so high in Connecticut, because of this. This is the things that people are doing. But my other concern is it's not just an out-of-state issue, but it's a town issue as well, where people who lives in Hartford will register their cars in the neighboring town because of the insurance or taxes. Like Hartford has a high, 72% of mill rate, which is high. But these are the reasons that, the mill rates are so high, for the fact that these are the things that people are doing, registering their car outside. So I support this bill 100%, but I would like to see that town issue as well. If you live in Hartford, your car should be registered in Hartford, not in the surrounding towns where you want to pay less on taxes, but you live in Hartford. So not only our cities are hurting, because it hurts Hartford big time when somebody comes and registers a car outside of Hartford. We don't collect those taxes. So not only the state is not collecting any revenues, but neither is the city. And in a city like Hartford, where we're going through the situations that we're going through, we got to fix that problem as well. So what I'm saying is that I would also like to see the town, not just the out of state, because in my area, trust me, I see them all the time.
Right.
Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont. You see it. If my understanding is that some of the people do this online. I don't understand how they do that, but they do it online. Uh, so I want both I want to see both problems. How can we solve both problems, where our cities be able to collect those revenues as well?
Thank you, Representative Arce, for saying that, and you're absolutely right. It is not just the cars that are from out of state, which obviously is revenue loss for the state in general, but then the towns and the cities that are losing huge amounts of money when the mill rates are disproportionate. And so it may be, obviously it's more lucrative to park your car somewhere else, or at least register the car somewhere else, not park it, but register it somewhere else. And that is another issue we need to look at. The first one, this bill is a little easier to identify because of the license plate. I mean, it tells you Maine, it tells you New Hampshire, so park there, you can access those cars a little easier. But if somebody lives in Hartford and and the car says a Connecticut state license and then pays taxes in another town, that's obviously going to be far more difficult to figure that out unless we make another system. And you make a very interesting point. I still remember 45 years ago when I came to this country, and after 2 years of my residency, made enough money, put aside enough money to buy my first car. I was in Brooklyn. I trained in Brooklyn. And when I went there, the dealer in Brooklyn from where I got my car was suggesting that I register a car in Long Island. And I didn't get it. I was so naive. I mean, I just came to this country, been here for 3 years. The first year, just bought my first car. And that was the point, that if you register the car in Brooklyn, you pay the higher property tax. Whereas if you register the car somewhere else, it was like, I couldn't believe you could do such a thing at all. But obviously, as you said, we see that happening all the time. And through this bill, maybe, as if this bill were to move forward, I hope it does, maybe that component that you addressed should be raised as well.
Thank you for that, and I'm also in favor of raising the fines, because we have to have some kind of enforcement. Like right now is I believe it's 30 days.
Yeah, 30 days.
For you to register your vehicle in the state of Connecticut.
Right.
But there's no enforcement.
Yeah,
so
right.
I think that's another issue that we got to work with and find how we going to enforce this. And I believe that those fines will make it happen.
Right.
But, we can't be too lenient on them. I mean, that's me.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's 30 days now. That's what we have in terms of time for registration, and the fine is in the range of $150. So both of that would need to be addressed.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Representative Day.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you, Doctor, for your testimony here. And I see you have some brilliant co-sponsors in this bill that I don't have to list for the record. But I'm one of them. But, no, but I don't know if you've heard the testimony. I think this bill goes a long way to go along with 6280. So in other words, identification and the fine, increasing the fine. And what percentage of the fines go back to municipalities versus go to the state? I actually don't know the answer to that question. I should. Do you know what, under the current bill, current law 14-12, there's a fine
Right.
For residents who operate motor vehicle they own with plates issued by another state. What percentage of the fine goes to the state and what percentage of the fine goes to the municipality? I think all of it goes to the state, as I understand it.
It is my understanding that all of that goes to the state and nothing goes back to the municipality. But I'll definitely follow through and reach out to DMV to make sure that I have the right answer back to the committee.
And it was the mayor of Stamford had discussed, David Martin had discussed Senate Bill 655, which I believe is another very intelligent member of this committee had sponsored, Senator Leone. And I think if we were able to give some of the money back to the cities and towns for these fines, and we make the enforcement easier, I can't believe anybody would be opposed to something like that. I mean, certainly nobody here. So, Doctor, I look forward to working with you, Senator Leone, the mayors, and let's try and get something done this session. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you.